A tragic accident occurred on Mount Everest in 2024, resulting in the deaths of several climbers and leaving others missing. The incident involved an ice collapse and overcrowding on the mountain, which has been a recurring issue for years. The 2024 climbing season on Mount Everest was marked by tragedy and loss as several climbers met their untimely demise on the world's highest peak. The incidents were a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked on the mountain, particularly in the death zone, where oxygen levels are low and air pressure is extreme. One of the climbers who lost his life was two Mongolian climbers, Sedendamba Yusukjargal and Lkagvajav Pirevsharin, lost their lives on the world's highest peak. Yusukjargal Sedendamba, 31 years old, and Lkagvajav Pirevsharin, 53 years old, were part of a 9-member Mongolian expedition organized by 8K Expedition. They had set out to conquer Everest without the assistance of Sherpa guides or supplemental oxygen, a bold and risky endeavor. The two climbers were last in contact with their base camp manager on May 12 from Camp 4, which is situated less than a kilometer below the summit. They were then spotted by another team heading towards the summit on the morning of May 13th. However, the pair never returned, and a search and rescue operation was launched. The conditions on the mountain were treacherous, with bad weather hampering the efforts. After days of searching, the body of Yusukjargal Sedendamba was found on May 17th at an altitude of around 8,600 meters, hanging on a ladder near the south summit. The body of Lkagvajav Pirevsharin was discovered the following day at an altitude of 8,300 meters near the balcony of Mount Everest. The deaths of Yusukjargal Sedendamba and Lkagvajav Pirevsharin serve as a stark reminder of the risks involved in climbing Everest without proper support and preparation. The death zone, where oxygen levels are low and conditions are extreme, claimed the lives of these two determined Mongolian climbers. Their tragic fate highlights the importance of prioritizing safety and responsible climbing practices on the world's highest mountain. The loss of these two individuals will be deeply felt by their families, friends, and the Mongolian climbing community. Another climber who met a tragic end was Daniel Paul Patterson. A 40-year-old British climber from Wakefield, England, had always been driven by a passion for the outdoors. As an experienced climber, he had previously summited Amadablam, another peak in the Himalayan range, which stands at 22,525 feet, 6,812 meters. Patterson was documenting his journey to climb Everest on social media and had been preparing for the challenge for 18 months. His goal was to raise funds for the family of a gym member who had recently passed away from cancer. On Tuesday, May 21st, Patterson successfully reached the summit of Mount Everest along with his Nepali guide, Pang Tenji Sherpa. However, they went missing during their descent from the summit and were presumed dead. Patterson's journey to climb Everest was not just about the thrill of reaching the world's highest peak, but also about raising funds for a noble cause. In one of his final social media posts on May 16th, he expressed his lifelong dream of climbing Everest and his determination to summit the mountain. He stated, "I have spent the last 18 months preparing for this challenge to reach the summit of Everest. One thing I can guarantee is that I won't be quitting. I don't get scared much in life, but the thing that scares me the most is not achieving this." Pang Tenji Sherpa was an experienced guide who had worked with several climbing teams before. He was part of the 8K Expeditions team that organized the expedition. Sherpa was last seen with Daniel Patterson during their descent from the summit and was presumed dead along with Patterson. The incident occurred on the Hillary Step, a vertical rock face near the summit, where a cornice collapsed, potentially dragging climbers down the mountainside. The area where the incident occurred is known as the death zone, where oxygen levels and air pressure are insufficient to sustain human life for an extended period. Rescue efforts were initiated by a team led by Na Tenji Sherpa and Pang Sherpa of Summit Force Private Limited. The team managed to save other climbers who were also affected by the route collapse at the Hillary section. However, Daniel Patterson and Pang Tenji Sherpa were not among the rescued. The tragic event came after the deaths of two Mongolian climbers, Yusukjargal Sedendamba and Pirevsharin Lkagvajav, who lost their lives above 8,500 m while descending from the summit point on May 13th. In a separate incident, Kenyan climber Joshua Cheruiyot Kirui, a 40-year-old Kenyan mountaineer, had always been driven by a passion for the outdoors. As a banker by profession, he had dedicated much of his life to mountaineering, having summited Mount Kenya 5,199 meters, 20 times, and setting course records on its challenging routes. Kirui had also competed in multiple ultramarathons and written a book about his experience in the Tour des Géants in the Italian Alps. In 2024, Kirui set his sights on the ultimate challenge, ascending Mount Everest without supplemental oxygen. He was attempting to become the first African to achieve this feat, and his determination was unwavering. Kirui was joined by his Nepali guide, Ngawang Sherpa, who had extensive experience on the mountain. On Wednesday, Kirui and Sherpa began their ascent, but they went missing during the climb. The pair had last been seen on the mountain, and their disappearance sparked a search and rescue operation. Despite the efforts of the rescue team, Kirui's body was later found near the summit, at an elevation of about 8,830 meters, 28,970 feet, above sea level. Sherpa, however, remained missing, and the search for him continued. Kirui's death has deeply affected the Kenyan mountain climbing community. Fellow climbers and colleagues have paid tribute to his indomitable will and unwavering passion for mountaineering. Kirui's employer, KCB Bank, described him as a passionate athlete and mountaineer, and the second Kenyan to ever summit Mount Everest. The incident serves as a stark reminder of the risks involved in climbing the world's highest peak. Despite the challenges, Kirui's family has chosen to leave his body on the mountain, citing the risks involved in retrieving it from such a great height and the comfort of knowing he is at rest in his beloved environment. Memorial services for Kirui will be held in Nairobi and his Cheptred village, located in the Rift Valley region. His legacy will live on through the countless lives he touched and the inspiration he provided to others. Another Nepali climber, Binod Babu Bastakoti, a 37-year-old Nepali climber from Leknath in Kaski district, had always been drawn to the thrill of mountaineering. He had spent years honing his skills and preparing for the ultimate challenge, climbing Mount Everest. In 2024, Bastakoti secured a climbing permit through Yeti Mountain Adventure and joined a team of experienced Sherpa guides from the high camp. He was determined to reach the summit and experience the breathtaking views from the world's highest peak. On May 23rd, Bastakoti and his guide, Pazong Sherpa, set out to conquer Everest. They reached the summit early that morning, but their joy was short-lived. As they began their descent, Bastakoti started to feel the effects of altitude sickness. He was struggling to breathe and move, and his guide knew something was seriously wrong. Pong Sherpa left to retrieve oxygen for Bastakoti but returned to find him aggressively resisting movement. Despite his guide's efforts to calm him down, Bastakoti's condition continued deteriorating. He died at around 8,300 meters just above Camp 4, leaving his guide and the entire climbing community in shock. The exact cause of Bastakoti's death will be determined after the autopsy, but it is clear that he succumbed to the harsh conditions on the mountain. His death serves as a stark reminder of the risks involved in high-altitude mountaineering and the importance of proper preparation and support. Bastakoti's tragic fate adds to the growing list of fatalities on Everest in the 2024 climbing season, which includes the deaths of 2 Mongolian climbers, a Kenyan climber, and a Romanian climber on Lhotse, the world's 4th highest peak. His story is a poignant reminder of the dangers that climbers face on the world's highest mountain, particularly in the death zone, where oxygen levels are low and conditions are extreme. Bangshi Lal, a 46-year-old Indian climber, had always been drawn to the thrill of mountaineering. He had spent years honing his skills and preparing for the ultimate challenge, climbing Mount Everest. In 2024, Lal secured a climbing permit and joined a team of experienced climbers from India. He was determined to reach the summit and experience the breathtaking views from the world's highest peak. On May 21st, Lal and his team set out to conquer Everest. They reached the summit early that morning, but their joy was short-lived. As they began their descent, Lal started to feel the effects of acute mountain sickness. He was struggling to breathe and move, and his teammates knew something was seriously wrong. The team quickly called for a rescue, and Lal was airlifted to Kathmandu on May 21st. He was rushed to Ham's hospital, where he received medical attention for his condition. Despite the best efforts of the medical team, Lal's condition continued to deteriorate. He died on May 27th at Ham's hospital in Kathmandu due to complications from his acute mountain sickness. Lal's death serves as a stark reminder of the risks involved in high-altitude mountaineering, particularly in the death zone, where oxygen levels are low and conditions are extreme. His story is a poignant reminder of the dangers that climbers face on the world's highest mountain and the importance of proper preparation and support. Lal's death adds to the growing list of fatalities on Everest in the 2024 climbing season, which includes the deaths of several other climbers. His legacy will live on through the countless lives he touched and the inspiration he provided to others. The incidents on Mount Everest in 2024 serve as a stark reminder of the risks involved in climbing the world's highest peak. The mountain's death zone is particularly hazardous, and the recent deaths have sparked renewed concerns about the safety of climbers and the need for better management of the mountain's crowded routes. The tragic events on Mount Everest in 2024 are a testament to the dangers that lurk on the mountain and the importance of prioritizing safety and responsible climbing practices. The loss of these climbers will be deeply felt by their families and fellow climbers, and it is a reminder that even the most experienced and well-prepared climbers can fall victim to the mountain's unforgiving conditions. The incident on Mount Everest in 2024 is a tragic reminder of the risks involved in climbing the world's highest peak. The mountain's death zone is particularly hazardous, and the recent deaths have sparked renewed concerns about the safety of climbers and the need for better management of the mountain's crowded routes.